time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Commissioners have a special call meeting coming up on Tuesday, May the 11th at 5 p.m. in the courtroom C to go into executive session and discuss EMS personnel and litigation. Ambulance coverage was a big topic at the County Commissioners meeting this past Monday night, as commissioners feel there's a need to invest more money in the county's ambulance service. EMS Director Richard Johnson told the commission that the county has only enough positions to run one full-time ambulance and one part-time ambulance. As a result, they stated that already this year 170 calls have come in where the county did not have an ambulance available for the call. Johnson said it's becoming a safety issue. Johnson recommended the county invest in another ambulance and the positions to operate it. Johnson says currently the staff is stretched so thin that one employee has had to work 60 hours over 5 days during this past week. County Administrator Ed Jeffers says he's working on a plan to meet the needs of the county. Board Chair Herschel Harris committed to work with the county's paramedics. He pledged that he and the other commissioners will provide a quick solution to resolve the issue. Thus, the call meeting again set for this coming Tuesday, May the 11th, once again at Courtroom C at 5 p.m. In other news, Sheriff Chuck Mosley announcing that on May 4th, units from the department responded to multiple vehicles being broken into at Troyer Specialty Fencing. Entry to the property was made through cutting a hole into the fence behind the business. Report was taken listing all the tools that were taken from the vehicles. 2 arrests have been made at this time, and investigation is still ongoing. Anyone with information about criminal activities has to contact the Sheriff's Department at 427-5970 and 427-5992. And the GBI investigating another officer-involved shooting which occurred in Camden County, and Camden County Sheriff's Department requesting the GBI come in and investigate the incident. And the incident occurred this week at 4:51 a.m. Camden County Sheriff's Department was executing a drug-related search warrant in the 1200 block of U.S. Highway 17 in Woodbine, Georgia. Law enforcement knocked and announced their presence before entering into the residence, but upon entry there was an exchange of gunfire between the occupants of the residence, identified as 46-year-old Rashawn Lamont Brown and 37-year-old Latoya Denise James, and law enforcement. During the incident, Rashawn Lamont Brown was injured and transported to the hospital. Latoya Denise James was shot and died at the scene. GBI will conduct an independent investigation. Once completed, they state it will be turned over to the Brunswick Judicial Circuit DA's office for review. And they state it's the 27th officer shooting the GBI has been requested to investigate this year here in the state of Georgia. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Wayne County Chamber of Commerce hosted the post-legislative luncheon this week, and we conclude with comments from our legislators who attended the event. Again, election law is the big topic. Bill Werkheiser had these comments about the reaction about the changes to the law.
The bill does 2 things. It makes it easier to vote and harder to cheat. And the narrative, I'm not a partisan guy. If you ask anybody up at the Capitol, I'm try to be the calming person. My friends, I'll do anything for my Democrat friends. But this issue kind of got under my skin because of the narrative and the headlines that are being perpetuated. To associate Jim Crow with this is offensive to me, and I'm not even old enough to have lived through that. But to people who lived through that dark period of history, and to associate what we just did is offensive, because it makes it easier to vote, harder to cheat. And he talked about some of the problem counties. We're talking about 2 to 3 counties out of 159 counties. And what the average length of line was in November when we had the highest voter turnout ever? 8 minutes. Now in June, it was different. During the pandemic, and again, same 2 counties, we went to them and said, get your act together. And think about this. Here's the thing that nobody's pointing out that was already in the elections law. You're supposed to have a machine for every 250 registered voters. I want you to think about that. Don't we have about 200 people here? Okay, so you're supposed to have a machine for this group. How in the heck is this size group going to stand in line for 8 hours? If you're doing what you've been told to do, and that is to have a machine for every 250 people. So, again, if you want, I could talk all day about this, but it makes it easier to vote, harder to cheat. The narrative, the headlines have been ridiculous, but that's what the bill does.
And again, those comments, State Representative Bill Werkheiser. State Senator Blake Tillery also addressed the issue and talked about the claim about long lines waiting to vote.
The next thing that I'd say about that is this. They say, well, let people standing in line for hours. I want to carry you back to the first thing I mentioned, which is, if you're standing in line for hours, there's an issue with the elections board. And we need to solve why you're standing in line for hours. I guess there is a way that you could be standing in line for hours, and that hours-long line could snake around 150 feet. But what usually would happen is people would get in a straight line. And if they get in a straight line for 150 feet, 50 yards, then they're going to be outside the water area, the water restrictions, food restrictions, the gift restrictions anyway. And so I really think that is while it is a really effective communicative line, it's the soundbite line, I do not think that that is nearly as impactful as most of them outside of our state would want us to feel.
Thinking those comments of Blake Tillery. Once again, the post-legislative luncheon held Tuesday at the Pine Forest Country Club. Should be noted that our representatives represent several counties, but they made a point to commend Wayne County for having such an event. They say that it simply doesn't take place in other counties that they represent. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news, again, a reminder, the groundbreaking ceremony for the renovation of James E. Bacon Elementary School is going to take place this coming Tuesday, May the 11th at 5 p.m. at 1425 West Orange Street. The public is invited to attend that event. Wayne County Board of Tourism has a couple of fishing events coming up, one on Saturday, May 15th, one on June 5th and 6th. It's the Big Bass Jamboree on Saturday, May 15th, and the Wayne County Catfish Tournament on June 5th and 6th. Again, the new event for fishermen is coming in May 15th with the inaugural Wayne County Big Bass Jamboree sponsored by the Board of Tourism. Registration for the event is $25, can be done at the Jesup Train Depot or online at active.com. Fishing will begin at daylight and the tournament will end at 3 p.m. Early weigh-in and final award will be held at J.C. Fair Building. Weigh-in prize money for 2 fish weighed in will be $100 for first place, $50 for second place each hour. Payout for overall big fish will be $150. Next opportunity for fishermen comes with the board's signature event, the Wayne County Catfish Tournament. This year's event offers anglers the opportunity to win a $7,500 first place prize. Other place payouts determined by the number of entries into the event. Weigh-in and tournament headquarters will also be at J.C. Fairgrounds at J.C. Landing. Those fishing in the tournament can put in anywhere on the Altamar River, but they must be in line at weigh-in at the J.C. Fairgrounds by 12 noon on Sunday. Tournament officials ask entrants to please note you must come to the fairgrounds to receive your T-shirt. Again, entry fee for the tournament is $100 per fisherman with a minimum of at least 2 fishing in a boat. Big fish pot entry is $10 per fisherman. Registration can be done online at active.com or can be dropped off at the Tourism Board's office in the depot. Registration packets are also available online at the Jesup Train Depot. If you need more information, call the Tourism Board office at 427-3233 or check out the event website at waynetourism.com. The fish rod, and they're ready to be caught. Again, the Big Bass Jamboree on May 15th and the Wayne County Catfish Tournament June 5th and 6th. 7th Annual Hospice of South Georgia Ride for Hospice 50/50 raffle run will be held on Saturday, May 22nd. The event's a fundraiser to benefit Hospice of South Georgia's Inpatient Unit Building Fund. Last raffle run in 2018 included approximately 71 motorcyclists from all over the state of Georgia. According to Jim Poindexter, volunteer and event coordinator, he says this year's fundraiser could be even bigger. He says they're certainly hoping more motorcycle enthusiasts will join them. Registration will begin that morning at 8 a.m. at the Hospice of South Georgia office located at 1625 Sunset Boulevard. And the first rider will be out at 10 a.m. Light breakfast will be served during registration, and lunch will be served following the ride. Cost is $20 per bike and $5 for passengers. Charity run will leave from Hospice of South Georgia and end at the Jesup VFW post for lunch. Winner of the 50/50 raffle will split the cash with Hospice of South Georgia, and the rider must be present to win. Drawings for other door prizes, including motorcycle accessories, gift cards, and other prizes will take place after lunch. Tickets for the door prizes are $30 each, 4 for $10 or 6 for $15. If you need more information, contact Jim Poindexter at 294-5373 or Carrie Starling at 912-588-0080. And finally, in the news, Sunday's Mother's Day. We at WIFO FM want to take this time to wish all the mothers out there listening a very happy Mother's Day. Whatever you do, don't forget to show your love to your mother this Mother's Day weekend. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan said, have a great day.